Hello, everyone, and welcome back into the EPAN to the UKV pod, where I'm your host, Drew Pitzer, joined with my fantastic co-host, Josh Carpenter. And today we have two very special guests from UT Martin. We have Coach Jeremy Shulman and Jawaan Holmes, the GM of UT Martin basketball. Fellas, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great. Yeah, I'm
Doing great.
just excited to be on here. Yeah, I appreciate the opportunity and glad to be on here with Coach Holmes as well.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I have a personal relationship with Jawaan. Obviously, he's the president of Home Team Sports TV, where he employs me to be a commentator. So again, thank you, Jawaan, for helping set up this impressive interview with one of the best young minds in the country. Obviously, I know he's been coaching for almost 30 years now, since he was the age of 16. So that's quite phenomenal. And Coach Schulman, if you want to take a quick second to kind of give an introduction to people that don't know who you are, now's the time, my friend.
I appreciate it. Hey, I'm just happy to be here. Second year here at UT Martin. Took a very unique route to get here to the Division I level and did AAU for 10 years. Started that when I was in high school. Passed on some opportunities because I just love where my feet were, love being there. Then went to the college route for 3 years at East Mississippi and then 14 years at Eastern Florida. And now, of course, second year here. So add that all up, it's 29 years. So it's been a while, but just love coaching, love impacting these young guys' lives. We love doing things kind of a unique way on the court. And so trying to build something special here at UT Martin.
Yeah, for sure. And Jawaan, I'll go ahead and let you introduce yourself. I should address you as Coach Holmes. My apology.
However you want to address me. First, I'll say that Coach Shulman probably loves you now because you called him young. You didn't you didn't call me young, so he's a young mind. But Jawaan Holmes been coaching for 10 years. Did 2 years at high school. This is my 6th year at the college level. Did 2 years at the semi-pro level before I got started in high school and things like that. So just met Coach Shulman a few years ago while he was coaching at Eastern Florida, and I was at Florida Tech. I had some guys that I wanted him to evaluate, and he told me no brainer, just bring them by. And whenever he called and asked me to come to one of their open gyms, it was a no brainer. So developed a good relationship early, and that's why you build relationships and things like that, and don't burn bridges, because here we are.
For sure. I mean, you never know who you're going to bump into along the road. And Josh, before I hand it back to you, obviously your team has, I think, 11 total foreign players on your team. I mean, you guys play a very unique style of basketball, a lot of sharing of the ball, a lot of high analytic shots. What is kind of your mantra with your program and how you want to go about, playing the game, if you want to kind of explain a little bit?
No, appreciate it. It's crazy enough. We actually have 13 international guys from 11 countries, 11 different countries. And so but you hit on it a lot. I mean, we want really unselfish guys. We want really, really high IQ guys. I love our system. It is a very detailed system. It's a very unique system. It's very different. I think you have to be a high IQ player to be able to pick up on our concepts, because it is very unique what we do. But we want to share the basketball. We want to play in great space. You want really skilled guys. We want unselfish guys. We talk about our shot, not individual shots. We don't care about points. We celebrate the power of the pass. We celebrate diving off floor. We celebrate a screen assist. We celebrate a cut assist. And so we want to celebrate the things that we think impact winning, not just the things that everyone celebrates, which is how many points a game you're scoring or what type of highlights you have.
For sure. And I'll go ahead and hand it back over to Josh.
Yeah, so with your international players, what's the recruiting style like, and how's that differ from recruiting normal high school kids? Do you have a whiteboard of 100 European players? How are you evaluating them? How are you seeing them? And how do you choose the 13 that you do end up choosing?
Well, yep. Yes, we do. We recruit kind of all over. I mean, we did recruit. We signed 4 freshmen this past year that played high school basketball here in the States. So now 2 of those were international players. 2 of them were American-born players. So we do recruit everywhere. But obviously, international players and specifically, European players and West African players have kind of become our niche. We do have a very large whiteboard of different recruits and guys that we're trying to choose. And for one, we want guys to value what we have. We don't hide it with these recruits or their agents or anyone else. Like, you can go make more money your first year somewhere else. If you want the money, this is probably not the spot. If you want to be loved, you want to be cared for, you want to be developed, you want to win games, you want to be happy, like you want to have a great coach, all these things, like that's what we sell, that's who we are. And then the money will come later for these guys. But it's not skipping steps. We actually had a meeting this morning. We said, that was a different era, but like Steph Curry didn't make any money his first year. He's doing okay. Damian
Sure.
Lillard didn't make any money his first year. I mean, he's doing all right.
For sure.
John Morant played in OVC, didn't make any money first year. He's doing all right. And so, like, that's our selling point is come develop, play early. I mean, we've got 8 freshmen. I mean, we're starting 3 freshmen right now. Like, everyone talks about just the European connection, but like, I mean, how young are we? Our
Yeah.
oldest starter in our last game is 20 years old. Because we have like one of the youngest juniors in the country. That was our only junior starting in Andrea Vukomarovic. So, we want, first of all, who do we sign out of all those to pick our spots? We want guys that value what we have and want to be here. And that's the biggest thing. Like, we're going to be turned down by recruits sometimes and international guys, even though they love us, because maybe they chase an extra couple of dollars, but we want the guys that see the vision, the long-term vision, long-term earning potential, not just the happiness they're going to have here, which is, I mean, you can't understate how important happiness and joy is, just in all of our lives. Like why would you just chase a few extra dollars and be miserable? Like be happy where you are. But also, we do want to help these guys make long-term money. I'm very fortunate. I've coached 2 players to play in the NBA. I've coached players played in the Euro League. I've coached, I mean, so many countless number of players to play professional basketball in different, leagues and levels all over. And so, we want to help those guys make long-term sustainable money, but like, it doesn't always come that first year. You got to, don't skip steps. Like, come and be happy, be loved, be cared for, be developed, and then we'll make money down the road.
For sure. How do you think those guys have all gelled, all coming from different walks of life?
I think one thing that's helped us a lot is we all have come from different walks of life. Like, there's no outsiders here because we're all outsiders. We're all
Yeah.
the outcasts. I'm an outcast. To my knowledge from our SID, I'm the only Division I coach in the country that never coached 1 minute of NCAA basketball at any level before being a head Division I coach. Like, I've
That's
taken a
wild.
really weird, like, I'm an outcast. I'm a weird guy. Like, I've got weird hair. Like, I don't know. Like, we just, all our team buys into that. Like a lot of times if you're international, you come to a program and, you don't speak the language. It's a different culture. Maybe people make fun of your accent. Well, here, we all have different accents. We all
Yeah.
have different cultures. And so like, it helps us gel to your question. It helps us bond. And I think it's really helped our guys and just really buy into what we do. And like we're such a family here. You hear all these coaches, and it's funny, my wife, is very, very loyal and very defensive of other things that goes on. And like, you hear all these coaches talk about, we're all about great guys and culture and this and that. And I'm like, we know who you signed.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, man. Like I know that's a cliche word, but like for us, it is like real. Like we're just such a close knit group, and it's so fun to be around these guys every day. And I think it's part of it because we have this unique deal where everyone's an outcast, and so we all bond together because of that.
Last one, Drew, before I send it back to you. Do you think with that being said, you'll have an easier of retaining the guys that you do have that's underclassmen?
I mean, that's the hope. I mean, you never know. And I want what's best for our guys. I mean, I want to be very clear and tell our guys that as well. But we tell our guys we want what's best for them, but also if that's here, then be here. And I think because of that loyalty, because guys love it so much, we'll be able to retain. I mean, we've got a lot of young guys. We also retained 5 guys that played a lot of minutes from last year. Like
Right.
those guys could have gone elsewhere and they loved it here. And majority of those guys were international guys. And so our goal is very simple, and this is right up his alley. So I'm gonna have Coach Holmes speak in just a second, but we want guys to maximize their value here, maximize their happiness here, maximize their development here. And then when we can't afford to revenue share and pay our guys enough to retain them, and they've outgrown what we can still give them. And now what that really means for us is, can they go and produce right away at a high major? At that point, we've done our job, man. Like, high major basketball is like big time pro now.
Mm-hmm.
So if we can have like Montes Danusius, who's a really good freshman for us, Montes, we'll have him probably 2 years. He's not going to be ready. He's going to have a great year, but he doesn't need to leave after 1. But we're not going to graduate him here either. We just have to develop him, take care of him, have him be the happiest human, the most developed basketball player possible during his time here. And when he's ready to go be a starter at the high major level, and go start at University of Tennessee instead of University of Tennessee Martin, and I'm gonna help pack his bags. I'm gonna drive him up there to UT Knoxville. Then we've done
Yeah.
our job.
Yep.
Coach, you want to hit on that a little?
No, I think to his point, so it's about value, right? So Coach Shulman values something that a lot of coaches don't value, and it's a lot of coaches want to value the toughest guy, the biggest guy, the guy that plays, absolutely the hardest and run through a wall. But like, he values the mind so much so like, that we can go out and say, hey, we're looking for somebody that maybe somebody doesn't put the highest value into, but we value them because of that's what he values and that's what our system values. So we might not be fighting against certain teams for certain guys because of what we value most here at UT Martin. And to Coach's point, we're so tight knit that we celebrate little things on a day-to-day basis. We celebrate everything. And if we miss a birthday, the coaches got on the line and ran suicide.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
That's true story.
yeah, we had a
that's
time
great.
suicide because we missed a birthday. That's how important the little things are in our program. And we're going to celebrate together of just going for guys going to get their driver's license. You know what I mean? Like some things like, American guys will come and they already have their license, but our guys are coming from other countries and they don't have their license and they're super excited about going to get their driver's license. So we celebrate all these little things and we're one big family and that's what we preach. And that's what we're going to hold on to when it's time to retain these guys. And, to his point, and when, the time is ready for them to go and make life-changing money, then, we're going to embrace that and support them.
For sure. Drew.
Yeah, so Coach Holmes, I'll start with you on this one. Obviously, let's kind of predate back before you guys went to buy games and compete really well with a very talented Florida State team. Let's go back to March and April, planning to get into the season. What was your guys' blueprint coming into the season to build on the success that you guys already had last year to come into this year to really give yourself an opportunity, maybe even get into the NCAA tournament? What was kind of that blueprint to success that you guys created?
I think it was Coach Shulman kind of reflecting on last year and seeing where we could grow. And to be totally honest, it was role definition from the staff. Like everybody talks about it coming from the top to the bottom. Like that's so real when it comes to any business or any organization. So I think Coach Shulman took it, amongst himself as a leader to reflect and look in the mirror. I mean, he's so hard on himself. Like he really looks himself in the mirror and if he makes a mistake then he's the first one to say it, you know what I mean, and he doesn't need people to say it because he's already harder on himself than people are on him. So he kind of reflected from right there after the season and said, hey, we need more role definition within the staff. Within the role definition in the staff, then there's accountability. With the accountability, now we can hold our guys accountable. So it started with him and it kind of trickled all the way through the summer and then into the spring and the fall. And now, guys are kind of, taking ownership of what we're doing. And, I think that's kind of really what spearheaded, where we're at right now.
And, Coach Shulman, this will be for you. Obviously, you recruited so many foreign players, and you still have a couple American players on the roster. What is the difference in recruiting the guys that are from the States and are the ones that are from overseas? How do you find, the ability to be able to connect with both sides?
Well, I think what's exciting about the international part is it's become such an identity. It's the thing when I go to FIBA to watch, the European Championships, UT Martin has a brand name there. Here in the States, we're still trying to build that. But, if you're a kid from Atlanta, I don't know if you get excited about coming to Martin, Tennessee, and that's okay. But that's, we don't make Atlanta a hotbed for that reason. We're Martin, Tennessee is a lot different than Atlanta. I mean, shocking to a lot of people. But, when we go out overseas, first and foremost, we've got a brand name. So when I'm sitting right next to Stanford, when I'm sitting right next to Kentucky and all these places, we're not going to always be able to compete forever, recruit with those guys. But like our brand name resonates with those brand names. It really does. I think that's a really cool, unique thing. So international players get really excited to talk to us. And now seeing the success as well has obviously helped because now they see like there's proof of concept as well. Like it was one thing when we first got the job, a year and a half ago, and I'm showing videos of junior college basketball and I'm showing my vision and this and that. There were recruits that were like, yeah, man, that's cool. But I mean, I still know what UT Martin is. Now fast forward a year and a half later, and now they're seeing, oh, wow. Even with all these young players, even with all these international, like Coach isn't lying. He'll play young players. He doesn't just have to play grad transfers. And it's like, oh, wow, this actually works. It actually could, beat some really good teams. And so that part's really cool because there's such a brand name out there that, that we're like a high major brand out, in Europe. That doesn't mean we can get every player because, we're going to invest in our guys that are here, not invest in bringing guys in. Like we're going to bring guys in, develop them, then invest to keep them here because we want to be loyal to our guys. But to even put us in the ballpark of in these, to recruit some of the guys we're in, UT Martin has a high major brand name out there. So it's really cool.
I mean, to his point, to piggyback, I mean, it's a fun system to be a part of. You know what I mean? The amount of freedom that the guys have I mean, to be in a system where it's just conceptual and then you can just play within the concepts and, the green light is like neon green, like super,
Yeah,
super green.
for
He gets
everybody.
on people. Yeah, he gets on people for not shooting the basketball. You know what I mean? Like if you hear the horn, it's probably because you didn't take an inside out, 3-pointer. And like to have that type of freedom is unbelievable. And I mean, if you look at Matas Danusius, he is literally the 4-time freshman of the week because and it's only been 4 weeks into the season. You know what I mean? We don't know how many other people in our conference are even playing freshmen, but it's like a
Yeah.
real and the information is now tangible to his point. And, it's not just words, things are coming into fruition.
For sure. And Josh and I, before I give it back to you, Josh, when we played at Salem, we played with a numerous amount of foreign players, Nacho, Steven. I mean, and those guys were so fundamentally sound compared to American players. I'm not saying Americans aren't fundamental. It's just more of an emphasis overseas. And with your guys' system, it's really similar to a EuroLeague type atmosphere and how you guys play all the conceptual actions. What is the difference in coaching an American based player and a foreigner in terms of trying to get them more fundamentally sound?
So it's interesting. I'll kind of hit on a couple of things. One, to piggyback on it, I do think overseas they're taught the game a lot better. I think there's no question at this point. Just the level of coaching from a young age, the team game, unselfish, reads, decision making, IQ. It's just taught better. I mean, I'm learning from it daily. Like I fell in love with EuroLeague right around 2014. My
Beautiful.
wife is from Latvia in Eastern Europe, Northeastern Europe. My first time going back to Latvia with her to go see her parents. There's no ESPN out there, but there's EuroLeague. I didn't know anything about EuroLeague at that point. And so I'm start watching CSKA Moscow and Panathinaikos and Zalgiris, everybody else. It's like, oh my gosh, this is like extremely high level basketball,
It is.
it's funny. I actually became a CSKA Moscow fan first, even though they're like banned from EuroLeague at the moment. But that was the stuff that was on it, and it's just beautiful ball. And so the game's taught so well over there. But on the flip side, skill work and individual work is not taught. And so, and even gym access is not that available. Like we were talking to one of our current players who's from Bosnia, and he said, like during the summer, you can't get in the gym. Like if you're not part of a pro team working, there are no gyms available. And then the very few gyms that are out there are just insanely expensive that he and his family obviously can't afford to get into. So he might be able to find an outdoor court that's like 3 miles away from his house, and then how do you get there? And it's like, it's just the skill development is not taught the same way individually. But so that's one thing that trainers here in the States do an incredible job of. The skill development from an individual standpoint is incredible here. And so we're just trying to merge those two worlds together. Because for our system, and I want to be very clear on this, like I love what we do. It's not for everyone. And
No,
I did. And we warned, some of the players and agents, players we're recruiting, like, just because someone's throwing money or all of a sudden it's become a little hotter to recruit, international guys, that doesn't mean everyone can coach them. I see a lot of guys we recruited that are barely playing or very underachieving, and we're sitting here playing 5 freshmen. It's like not everyone's going to value that, just not. And so it works for us. It doesn't work for everyone else, but it works for us. And hopefully this is just the start of something even more special for us.
for
For
sure.
sure.
I really appreciate that insight. I know we only got about 5 minutes or so left. So, Josh, I'll let you go over and handle the last few questions before we close it out.
Yeah, so we were talking about the Florida State game and how you guys have a high brand overseas. When it comes to March, there's only one like NCAA championship trophy. So how can you try to retain guys and how can you get to the level where you might start winning those games against ACC schools and then your brand is kind of equal in the United States? How do you compete and win those games?
Well, I'll start and then I'll hand off to our GM here because he'll have a great insight on it. I mean, it all revolves around retention. There's just no doubt about it. How do we do that? It's not going to be always easy, but again, we have to align with our guys throughout this process to figure out truly because I'm in their corner. I mean, I've done this. Remember, I did AAU for 10 years. I did junior college for 17 years. Every one of those stops, I was helping guys get to Division 1. I was helping guys move up. So like that is in my nature to help guys. We just have to be aligned with our players where they know we have their backs and we are trying to help take care of them best we can. And then if we come to a mutual decision that it is still important to be retained here and stay here and develop here and be happy here and joyful here and develop, then those are the guys we have to retain. The moment someone is out of our ballpark, like they got to go. Again, like I said with Montes, Danusius, like, I mean, he'll be here 2 years, and like I don't have any even thought of him being here his junior year. Now, if he chooses it, still, like I'm not going to say no, but I'm not going to like if he can have 750,000 or a million, by his junior year. I mean, he's got to take it. Like I'm not going to let him stay. I'm going to want him, and he may say, "Well, coach, I love it. I don't want to leave. I'm so happy." Well, when you're talking about $1 million, like Montes, baby, like you got to do it, and so that's the retention. That's like at the crux of it where it comes down to. This is what Coach Holmes is going to be so great on it. But we need to retain, and it's on the flip side. It's not even on our top guys. We had a meeting yesterday. I reminded our staff we got a couple freshmen aren't playing, and they're not playing. One's even redshirting, the other's barely playing, another one's barely playing. And I remind our staff, those are still our guys. We still have to develop them. We're not going to grass is greener and try to move them on after the year, but we also have to help them understand that they just have to be patient if that's what they want. Obviously, I've got to do what's best for them. But like it may be junior year for those guys, but by junior year they're going to be really good. But like I don't want us to lose sight that even if it's not just our top guys, but even the guys that aren't playing much, we can't say, oh, well, they're not good enough because they're averaging one a game right now. No, man, they're the same player that we believed in when we recruited. The same player we believed when we brought in. We have to keep instilling that belief to retain those guys. So it's not just retaining Matis or whoever else has some statistics. It's retaining the guys at the bottom of the rotation that we still believe in. It's just their time isn't yet. But you combine those two sides of it until, again, I'm going to be so excited the day that Matis can make $1 million at a high major. I'm going to be so excited for him because that's like we're doing that for him. We're doing this for the next player after him. We're doing this to help these guys achieve their dreams. And we want to have just a small piece in that. So, Coach.
No, I think the important piece is it's a formula, right? To answer your question, like we've already proven that we can win young, but there's a formula to where I mean, he's a mad scientist when it comes to basketball, so I know that we're going to eventually find this formula when it comes to retention and recruiting. Like we've already proven we can win young. Prairie View is an old team that we just beat. And their coach was talking about how old they were and how excited he was about the team. And then we come in very young and we've proven that we can win. The Florida State game, to your point, I mean, that's just a 2-3 possession game with just a few minutes left in the game. So we've
probably missing two starters.
Yeah,
two guys that started last game.
Couple turnovers and stuff too. I mean, that was a couple 50-50 balls away.
Yeah,
time team.
Yeah, and to the point is, we were close, right? So, and that's with guys that haven't really played that much. So once we find the formula of the guys that are young and that can still impact, and then retention that can also impact, we find that formula, and now we're really cooking with hot grease, and that we feel like we can compete in March and make some noise. So I think that's, what we're trying to do. The community's already behind us and we're buzzing. We connect with the community on a day-to-day basis. They support us. They're excited about us. Our AD is absolutely phenomenal. He supports us. The athletic department, they all support us. So like, we're only in our second year. We haven't been here 2 calendar years yet. And we're just constantly putting together the pieces to try to find the perfect formula. Between being old, between the portal, between the freshmen, between retention, between graduating guys that want to be what we call program guys. Soon as we find that formula, it's we're going to be right there.
Last one for me, real quick, Coach Shulman. What made you make that jump at each stop? Because you spent a lot more time at each individual stop than most coaches do. What was like the deciding factor in your brain when you were like, okay, let's make this jump?
So it's a great question. A number of things, because to your point, like I love being where my feet are. I probably make the case I stay places too long. I passed up some opportunities both in Mid-State Ballers and then at Eastern Florida that people probably thought I was crazy on. But this one aligned with everything. Coach Holmes already mentioned it. Kurt McGuffin, our athletic director, is absolutely incredible. I think he's the best mid-major athletic director in the country, probably the best high major. I just don't know any high major ADs, but he's the best in the country. Our chancellor, which basically our president of our campus, Dr. Freeman, is just absolutely incredible. So the alignment there. I'm from Nashville. When I coached in AAU, I actually recruited a lot of West Tennessee players, which was the different, unique thing back then. And so I'm very familiar with West Tennessee. I'm very familiar. I've coached players that played at UT Martin. I've coached players from Martin Westview High School. And so just kind of connection of being back in my home state, the alignment with the administration, some of the even though we don't recruit necessarily West Tennessee as much as we recruit international right now, but just there, it feels kind of like a second home here. Everything just aligned perfectly to make this, I thought, such a great fit. So it was just a home run decision. I'm just very grateful that that Kurt McGuffin gave me the opportunity. I'm the thankful, I'm the grateful one because he had unbelievable candidates out there, and I'm the different outside the box hire. And for him to give me a chance, I'm just eternally grateful for that.
Sure. Drew.
Yeah, again, guys, I know we took you guys over a couple of minutes. We really appreciate you both stepping in and taking time out of your busy days. I know you're right in the thick of, the season right now, competing to try to win your conference and get a bid in the NCAA tournament. So again, we want to thank UT Martin head coach Jeremy Shulman and GM Jawaan Holmes for hopping on the EPAN to the UKB pod, where I'm your host, Drew Pitzer, joined by my co-host Josh Carpenter. Make sure you guys like, love, subscribe to all of our channels. We really appreciate all the love and support. You guys have a great day. Thank
Appreciate
you
you
guys for
guys, man.
watching.
Appreciate you guys.
You guys are doing a great job.